Look at that for a rig. The Mallee Blast 1000 TT edition. Alright folks, I thought, as I did for Vic Divide, I thought I'd run through my bike setup for Mallee Blast, which is the end of next week, so late for, where are we? November 2021. It's a pretty flat and fast course, and I know that's gravel, but you know what? I think speed over ground is the most important part for this race. So I'm going the TT bike setup because it's all about going fast. You don't really believe that, do you? Let me change into something a little more suitable. Skids! Something a little more appropriate for going off-road. Still TT though. Hang on. How's that thing gonna sit there now? Alright, I'm in focus. Yes, alright. Do you like my joke? My bike for Mallee Blast is, so if you don't know it, it is 1000 Ks, pretty much semi-off-road, bit of bitumen from Torquay to Swan Hill and back, devised by the crazy bugger Ross Burridge. I think all of us in the bikepacking world here in Australia are greatly looking forward to actually getting out and doing a bit of racing, which is going to be awesome. My bike is, and the bike itself is an open upper, so it's the lightweight version of the open up frame. This thing's like 4 years old, it's been completely bomb proof. Love this thing. For this one I'm going 40mm tyres on a set of 700C rims. They're Head Ardennes. I've got my fancy ass titanium Cane Creek cranks, I love them, on an XTR derailleur, 42 wolf tooth front chainring and a 42 XTR cassette. I've got a 46, but it's getting a little worn, so I'm going to risk it and run the 42. 1-to-1 should be enough, hopefully. I run a power meter, which is my SRM mountain bike pedals. Sadly, the battery life for them is not going to get me through the whole race, but I'll have power on the first day at least before they go flat. A little bit of guidance for me. Bags wise, I run the full suite of Apidura Expedition bags, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what size that is. I think it's a 10 litre or a 14 litre maybe. All my clothes will go in the back. I don't exactly know what clothes I'm wearing yet. I'll check the weather before I go, but I'll definitely at least have a spare pair of socks, puffer jacket, knee warmers, arm warmers, cold stuff for the night time. It's probably going to be cold in the Mallee. So that's all my clothes. My sleep system is the Jesse Carlson / Sarah Hammond style, very thin. I think it's a 6mm foam mat. I've got a Mount Laurel Designs bivvy rolled up in there. Inside that is a Spark 1 sleeping bag and a Cedar Summit pillow. So it's a Cedar Summit Spark 1 and a Cedar Summit pillow. Good for just rolling out nice and fast. I might show you some close-ups of that and how quick it is to set up and pull down within some overlay on this thing of this video. The half frame bag, in that I just run, look, there's bits and pieces. I've got a Katadyn Be-Free water filter. I'm going to throw that in a box because it's actually been raining here on and off. It's nearly bloody summer and it's still raining. It's ridiculous. I've got a little, I think this is an Apidura, a little shopping bag that goes on your back. So if you go shopping and you want more food room, you can carry that. I've got a Vandal key for some taps in case there's something at fire stations, and that quite often have taps but you can't get to the damn buggers. So I got one of them. It's bloody heavy, but there's not that much vert on this ride. I think there's a total of like 6,000 over 1,000 Ks, which isn't too bad. Sounds a lot to most people, but over that distance it's not. I go sunscreen, that is chain lube. I use the Squirt lube. I find it's pretty good, doesn't pick up dust and grit. You can wipe it down, put more on, and it's good as gold again. There and there. I've got baby wipes for various purposes. I'll leave that to your imagination. Now, for me, I think on a ride like this, tyre pressure is pretty important. If there's long sections of bitumen, then I'm going to be running higher pressure than I normally would. Once it's gravel or we get to the sandy spots, I'm going to let the pressure down a bit quickly if I've stopped, to get a bit more traction and float across it a bit more. This pump is a Crank Brothers pump. I love it. It's got all my tapes, so duct tape, electrical tape. This thing has a pressure gauge built into it, into the valve, if I can find where that is. It's one end. It's in here somewhere, but it has a pressure gauge, so I know if I'm letting it down to 20, like at the most I'm probably going to go high of 40, low of, you know, I love running low. Like I'm easily running maybe 20, 22 on these if it's really soft, sandy stuff or rough gravel. So pump with a pressure gauge, love that. What else? This one's pretty much electrics. I always wondered why people kept electrics in this one and not food. And I've learnt with experience that it actually is about ease of accessibility. Like simple things like multi-tools and stuff like that. Like if you can do stuff while you're moving and not have to stop to get it out of somewhere else, then it's not time lost. So I keep anything I need, so charging stuff. Look, I can fit a bit of food in there as well. But all my electrics are in there, so cables, headphones, battery banks. I run an Anker 10,000 milliamp, what is it, Power Core 10,000 PD Redux. It's pretty good. It's supposed to be fast charge. I've had a bit of problems with it actually fast charging off some USB-C chargers. So it runs off my Apple iPhone USB-C charger, but not the other one I bought that's got a standard USB plug on it as well. So I don't know what it's doing. So I run one of them. I've got two of these BioLite ones. They're little stainless steel ones, which are pretty good. So they will all charge my, usually I've run an E-Trex 32X in the past. But to be honest, I've got a Garmin 1030 Plus. That thing on battery save mode lasts like 2 days. It's crazy. And I trust it for navigation. Like it's pretty good. It actually gives me alerts when I've got to turn left and right, whereas the E-Trex, which everyone in bikepacking seems to think they're the bee's knees, but they don't even beep at you when there's a left or right turn. So on a course like this, where we're literally zigzagging left and right the whole way north, it's kind of nice to know if you get a heads up whether you've got to turn left or right or go straight or whatever. So I'm running just the Garmin this time. I have a heart rate strap on. As I said, I've got power as well. That's them. Now my light system, sadly, I bought pretty much a new hardtail full rigid thing to do Tassie Gift, and sadly I couldn't get down there to do it. So for that I bought a dynamo hub and K-light lights and stuff, but they don't fit on this bike. So I'm still running old battery light setup. So I run a glowworm light on the front, which is a pretty cool one. It runs these battery packs. So this is a 2-cell battery pack. I've got another 4-cell battery pack. On the medium to low setting, they do last pretty much all night. I can't recharge these glowworm ones unless I am at a hotel or servo or something and I can plug them into the main, so I can't charge them off the battery pack. I think the new versions of these you can, but this one's a couple of years old. So as a backup to lights, I also run exposure lights. So I've got an exposure Diablo light that I keep on the front, and I've got an exposure joystick that goes on my helmet. That can also go on the bars if I need to. Now they can recharge off that Anker battery pack and recharge them, so that should get me through 2 nights with all that battery pack that I've got with me. I also run a little headlamp that's velcroed to the front of my helmet, just so when you're trying to find stuff at night time within all your food pouches, or you're trying to do something, you've actually got a light that you can just flick on and see what's going on. Or if I get scared and I want to see what's on the side of the road, I can, you know, scare the witches away. Helmet, so I've got my good old fluoro helmet. I love these things. After Vic Divide, I accidentally ran over my last one. It fell off on a big roundabout and got run over by a truck off the back of the ute, sadly. Got a brand newie though, so it's all good. I've got Oakley Radar EV photochromic lenses, so they're pretty dark right now, but they'll go light at night time and I can see pretty well. Always carry a little Oakley soft case to clean the lenses at night so I can see. What else? Aero Bars. So these are a set of Dita Aero Bars, I'm pretty sure. Dita Parabolics or something they might be. I've adjusted the arm cups a little bit with some thicker pads. I had some spare ones for my TT bike that you saw just before. So I run that, so that's pretty comfy. So for me, that drop there is, I could sit in that all day. I did 300 Ks the other day on this thing and I was super comfy there all day long. You know, but I can still get pretty aero on it. I can tuck up in my little high hands position, as I call it, and hopefully get nice and aero on the flat roads. I've got a bit of custom stuff going on the front, so I can add some different mounts and things like that. I've also got my quad lock. Handlebars are the warmer, so curved warmer bars. They're 46 at the hoods, I think. I don't know what they are in the drops. Actually, I'm rarely ever in the drops, to be honest. But it is nice just to have a different hand position, but they're nice and wide. Everyone thinks wide bars are stupid on gravel bikes. Like all my mates, they're like, oh, should I get wide bars? And I'm like, yes, because then when you go to put bag rolls and stuff on the front, you've got more width to be able to store everything. If you go these little narrow ones like 40s, I've had 38s on my gravel bike before because that's what I ran on my road bike. You can't fit anything in between. Standard like racy gravel bikes like this one of my problems is the head tube's so short that if my Apidura bag comes pretty close to sitting on the front tyre, luckily with this foam roll it sits up and sort of stays there away from the front tyre. So that's the only problem with the things like the curves, which I would love one of those one day. They're a lot better because the head tube's bigger and you've got a lot more clearance to the tyre when you're trying to strap things to the handlebars. Otherwise, what else is in here? This side I've got everything. I carry a little set of hand and toe warmer things. So if it is cold at night or I'm about to have a sleep for a few hours, I can crack these, put them on my hands or feet and actually keep a bit warmer. And then really I've just got my drug stash really. So there's like Panadol, Nurofen, coins, first aid stuff, extra chamois cream, a lighter in case I need to light a bonfire somewhere if I'm freezing cold. Or have a ciggy at a servo, you never know. JP would love that. That's about it on this side. Of course, multiple bloody COVID masks. Surely there's no COVID in the Mallee. That's about it, folks. I think that's it top to bottom. So this thing I can carry 2 bottles. I keep my spares down the bottom in a little spares cage, which is handy. I carry a 3rd water bottle in my pouch up the front on one side, and if there is a long stretch where I don't want to stop, I can store water in my water filter bag. That gives me, what's that, 600, 1.2, 2, it gives me nearly 2.6 litres of water all up, which is pretty good for a course like this. That's about it, folks. I'll see you in the start line if you're doing it. It's in a week or so. I'm filming this a little earlier than I normally would for these, but yeah, let's pray for summer to be upon us. Let's pray for the wind to somehow magically be a tailwind both ways. I'm very scared of riding a big tailie up and then having a crazy ass headwind the whole way home. If it's coming from the prevailing southerlies, then generally that's what we're gonna have. I think I've covered everything. If you got any questions, leave us a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. Otherwise, folks, get on it, enjoy the ride if you're doing it, and if you're not doing it, what are you doing? Bikepacking is the new golf. It's like away from everybody. It's COVID safe, and it's good for the soul. Alright folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.